WLTZ NBC 38 studios in Columbus, Georgia. This is Calvin Floyd Live.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Calvin Floyd Live, and I'm Calvin Floyd. I'm glad to have y'all with us today. We'll be on from noon to 1. We have a guest in with us today, Mr. Dan Masters, and I asked him what he wants to talk about. He says anything and everything. So we'll have some open line time. We're going to find out some things about Dan. He started watching, he was 4 years old, he told me, or something like that. But we're going to find out all about Dan and some other things. We're going to be talking some today about wrestling. So if you got something you need to talk about, we do want you to join us. Plus, we'll be giving away 2 chances at winning $50,000. We're going to give away a $25 gift certificate. And if you're the number that matches that one, this one, or this one, and the caller, that's the ones that get the chances to win it. So, y'all stay with us. We're going to see what's happening with the weather. We're going to be right back with you. And Dan, it's good to have you in with us today. And you're from University of Georgia, I understand.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time. Actually, Ellaville prior to that, and then Buena Vista for some few years. I graduated high school there.
Well, you know there's some Ellaville and Buena Vista.
Who's that?
It's 12 miles.
Yeah.
Or something.
That's about it, right? Not too far down the road. But
still got gnats.
A lot of them. And where I am now, the sand gnats everywhere in Savannah. So that's my new home. But I spent a lot of time in Columbus. The radio business, as it was then, it's changed a lot.
Well, how'd you get into radio?
Radio? Oh, Lord, how long do you have? First, let me say it is a plum pleasing pleasure to be sitting with you, your beautiful wife, Nan. And you jokingly earlier, but yeah, 4 or 5 years old, started watching this show. And you're like an institution in Columbus. Oh, I was here at 4 a.m. this morning waiting for Rise and Shine. What happened?
Well, we never did come on at 4.
I was waiting at 4 with the Hardee's biscuits.
It came on at 6.
Right.
And I lost my alarm clock.
I like to be early, so, okay.
And now we changed to noon the first of the year. And it's just, time's nothing but 2 hands on the clock in a state of mind. That's what I tell everybody. So it's just all, if you think 6 o'clock in the morning is bad, it's going to be bad. If you think 6 in the morning is wonderful, it's going to be wonderful. So, you know, it's all a mindset, and it don't matter if I'm at 6 in the morning, at noon, all I want them just as long as they'll talk to us. You know, we got callers trying to hold, they want to talk to us.
I see this stack of lottery tickets. That's what I really came for. I need the big bucks like you're making. Yeah. Well, all that real estate worldwide. I know you got places, Savannah, Beach House, and everything.
Well, listen, I know you don't get it with these lottery tickets because I have been scratching and I've yet to make anybody wealthy. I've been doing this about 3 or 4 weeks now.
Okay.
But today's going to be the day.
Today's the day.
But now, anyway, you got into broadcasting here in Columbus, is that right?
Yes, I was.
Well, what's your affiliation with wrestling?
Now, that's actually how it started. I was doing some wrestling managerial work.
You're a heavyweight wrestler?
No. Well, should I take my jacket off? No. You know, back in the day, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, they had wrestling managers. It was a very important role back in the day of Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Ole Anderson, the Assassins, and Mr. Wrestling too. They had managers back then. Not so much now on television, but back then they did. And at the age of 12, I was fortunate enough to slide into the door and carry a briefcase and no tennis racket like Jim Cornette, but I did get to go to the ring with a lot of great wrestling talents, and that's what developed my...
What was you going to the ring from at 12 years old? Instruct them?
Well, if they need a little help from time to time, cheat to win isn't always a bad thing when it comes to wrestling or sports entertainment.
Well, is it wrestling? Was you part of wrestling or wrestling?
Wrestling.
You were part of wrestling.
Yes.
There's a different channel.
Yeah, in the Chattahoochee Valley, it's wrestling. Okay, you know, I mean, and that's when it was great. A lot of people always say, Dan, what happened to the old days? Or why can't we bring it back? We watch the WWE or TNA, the sports entertainment they call it now. We want to take it back to the old days. Jerry Oates, Ted Oates, and all those. Yeah,
well, probably before you remember, and you might remember the tail end of it, but when I came to Columbus, if I recall right, wrestling was filmed every Saturday right downtown live. You know?
Fred Ward, Ralph Reed, who's actually still in town. I hadn't talked to him in a few years though, but Ralph, if you're out there, wherever we are, playing golf or doing something, meet up with me this weekend. So he's still got some of those old tapes. I'd like to get my hands on some.
What was the connection with you with wrestling though? I mean, did they have you come in just say as a an assistant manager or something? Did you play that role?
If the man that I was managing started to kind of lose, you know, the bad guy, normally what they call the bad guy.
You did this as a kid?
I'd get up on the apron and hit him with a tennis racket. And
They let you do that as a kid?
12 years old I started doing that.
Is that right, 12 years old?
I fell in love with it then. And I remember going to a Walmart actually one day with my parents, and there was a sign that said, "Want to be a wrestler?" And I was like, "What's this all about, Dad?" You know, I wanted to call the number, and the guy says, "No, 12 years old, you can't train to be a wrestler, but you can come check us out and see what we do." And I think my dad may have slid him a few $100 to let me hang out and become a part of the program at some point in time, and that's what happened. I hit a few people over the heads with briefcases over the years and took an elbow or two from Dusty Rhodes, so hey, it all comes with it.
Some of these guys are still your friends today, right?
They are. Many of the Hall of Famers, I'm excited to say I still get an opportunity to work with from time to time, because once you're in it, you don't hang it up. Unless you're Miller, who's here. I kept begging him, "Miller, please, get yourself back in that ring."
You know, I'm encouraging Miller. I want him to get into that UFC. I mean, now that looks like if you're tough, just get on in there. You don't have to say it. You find out.
A mat right here and have a few matches.
I wouldn't mind you getting in here, Miller. If you're watching, we'd be glad to have you come in here and we get some of these UFC fighters with you. Now that's for real.
Hey, well, you're telling me if you fell down on your back time and time and time again, that wouldn't hurt a little bit in the wrestling ring?
Well, it might hurt, but I'm gonna tell you something. I don't see the noses and the faces broke off of them like I do in that UFC.
I've seen some wild stuff over the years, that's for sure.
But it was an accident, right?
Well,
or was it real?
It's real to me.
It was real to you.
Yeah.
Good enough. Okay.
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 It's not fake. It's fixed. I mean, you know.
Anyway, you left.
The bumps and bruises hurt.
You left Columbus and went to Savannah. You in the radio market.
What I was going to say, to get into the radio, actually, I was at some matches here in town, and I thought, how can we get some extra publicity for our wrestling matches on the radio without paying for it? So we had one of the radio announcers at the time, Sam Diamond, came out to the matches, did some ring announcing for us, and I said, I've always loved radio, I've always loved TV and broadcasting. How do I get into it? And he said, hey, if you want a part-time gig at the radio station, you can get credit for it at school. If they'll approve it, you can come in and wash the van once a week. So I started driving from Buena Vista to Columbus every day, leaving school at 11 o'clock, going to the radio station, just sitting, listening, absorbing, and taking the knowledge in like a sponge, I guess you'd say. I fell in love with it. And the part of it that was so cool to me is the interaction with people, being able to take live calls. And one day at the Civic Center, all the bosses and the bigwigs of the radio station went in to meet the bands backstage. The new guy had to man the tent. Well, the station threw for a live remote break. The mic was there. You can't let dead air roll. So I picked it up and ran with it. The next week I was on the air.
Wow.
Coolest kid in high school is going to the bikini contest at Al Hoo's on a Thursday night or whatnot. You know, you can't get any better than that. So.
Well, you know, I got an email from you. Had to be 10 or 15 years ago.
Had to be. I said, Calvin, you need a little youth on there from time to time. Mr. John and all these, you know, Mr. Nally. I think you need Dan Masters.
They can stay home one day and you'll come fill in for us.
I did.
It probably made a mistake not doing it.
Well, it took 10 years or so to get me here, but the ship hadn't sailed yet. We're smooth sailing right along.
Well, we need to go to a break, and we're going to be right back. When we do, we're going to take some calls and anything you need to feel. Boy, howdy, this is one of those days. If you need to talk about it, give us a call. We want to hear about it. Got me stepping on the words, and we'll be right back.